Hi, beautiful. Welcome to A Course in Miracles Practical Applications. This is a video series where we attempt to look at some of the beautiful and profound truths taught in A Course in Miracles and apply them to the mundane, to everyday life and the things we face as humans. And what I was reading today is in the text, chapter 31, I was reading in the final vision. And one of the things that's really emphasized in this chapter is that fear is hell. I mean, that's a direct quote. Fear is hell. The sight, the vision, and the inner guide all lead you out of hell with those you love beside you and the universe with them. So that got me thinking about, well, how do I apply this in those moments where I'm in judgment? To every part of true creation has the Lord of love and life entrusted all salvation from the misery of hell. And it talks about the sword of judgment. The sword of judgment is the weapon that you give to the illusion of yourself, that it may fight to keep the space that holds your brother off, unoccupied by love. What is temptation but the wish to stay in hell and misery? So in A Course in Miracles, it talks about this apparent or seeming paradox where we think we want to be happy, but the ego doesn't actually want to be happy. It wants to be right. And it would sell happiness in order to purchase being right. Because the ego is insane, ultimately, and fear-driven. Your true authentic nature is love, and you are love-led when we listen to the inner guide. And this metaphor of the sword of judgment brought me back to a time where I had someone that I had worked with make a false accusation about me. And it was just blatantly not true. And privately, this person admitted to me, like, I know it's not true, but I can't go after who actually did it, so I'm going to go after you. And I remember just being kind of in shock, like, why is this happening to me? I'm so upset. And I was really angry at this individual and I wanted justice. And I didn't just want the misery to end. I wanted retribution. I wanted this person to get what they have coming. And I wanted to be the one who made sure they got what they had coming, because I was angry and upset that this individual would falsely accuse me. And it felt at the time humiliating. And didn't this person understand how that could affect my reputation, how that could affect my family? Like, I felt so betrayed, so hurt. And I remember I was doing A Course in Miracles, a workbook for students at the time. And I remember going into deep meditation and prayer and asking for guidance, asking the inner guide how to handle this. And the guidance that kept coming back to me was, put down your sword, put down your sword. And that was really profound. I understood that was what I would do if I was choosing happiness. And yet those fearful parts were like, yeah, but if you put down your sword and she's attacking you, how will you defend yourself? You need to defend, defend, defend. And the most amazing and wonderful thing happened when I trusted the guidance. I put down my sword energetically. Obviously, I didn't have an actual physical sword, but I energetically put down the sword of judgment. And I reached out to this person in authenticity, vulnerability, and love. And I asked if we could connect and work through this. And I really listened deeply. I listened without any judgment, without any anger. And what I realized at some point in the conversation was this person was very wounded. I had not been the one to inflict that wound. And yet, it was my honor and opportunity to be the one who helped her to heal that wound. And as I held space for her and listened without judgment and truly stayed in love, all her defensiveness, all her armor, all her righteous indignation melted away. And she ended up dropping everything. It became a non-issue. She let go of the accusations. She did not, I'll be honest, did not directly apologize, but she asked me if I would like to come to her house and spend time with her. I mean, she wanted to be friends and stay connected. And I did. I went and visited her and we reconnected as friends. And to this day, I still feel nothing but love for this person and I wish them well. And at the same time, if I feel that someone has a volatile personality and I might get caught up in drama that I don't want to be a part of, I might detach from that. I'm not looking to be a martyr. But what Spirit was trying to do was offer me true protection. Because when you pick up the sword of judgment, the other person perceives they're being attacked. They pick up their sword if they haven't already. And now it's a war. It's a battle. I had this vision during that time period of the strongest samurai in the room put down his sword because everybody knew who he was and he didn't need his sword. And I felt like Spirit was giving me an opportunity to witness my own strength that comes from compassion, that comes from love, and that is truly fearless, And so I invite you, next time you're in a situation where you feel like you've been wrongly accused or you have been attacked or you are being mistreated, to put down your sword. Put down your sword. Now, if you are in actual physical danger, obviously don't be around that person and call the proper authorities. We do have an obligation, I believe, to be wise and appreciate this beautiful learning device, this lovely biosuit that each of us has been given. And we're not to be foolish with it. But if you know that you're not in physical danger, it is your ego that is being offended. It is your ego that is being attacked. Putting down your energetic sword is the most potent and powerful thing that you could possibly do. Hear the other person out without any judgment, in a state of true love, without getting defensive, without going into righteous indignation, without going into judgment. Hear them out, listen, wish them well, wish them nothing but love. They will feel that energetic shift in you. And chances are they're either going to put down their sword, or if they're not ready to put down their sword, they're too entrenched in ego, they're going to quickly lose interest in you. I have experienced that firsthand in other situations where I just stopped fighting with the individual in question. They clearly wanted to fight and I didn't. And so I just showed up with integrity, I was honest. I wasn't being a doormat, but I was kind and honest simultaneously. And they quickly, I got called some names and yelled at, and then they quickly exited my life. Never heard from them again, because what I realized was they wanted to fight. And when they realized I wasn't going to fight with them, they lost interest and went and looked for someone else to fight with. So chances are, when you put down your sword, one of two things are going to happen. The other person is going to realize, oh, they're not here for a fight. I can put down my defenses. And now there's an opportunity for true communication and true harmony and a restoration to occur. Now, if they are not going to put down their sword, they're going to lose interest in people who don't want to fight them, because their ego is still in battle mode, and that's fine. They can go find other children on the playground who want to play battle games. And if you're done with battle games, then put down your sword. Because the only thing we could ever try to protect is ego, because the spirit doesn't need our protection. Your beautiful true nature is indomitable. It doesn't need your protection. The big self doesn't need the protection from the small self, and the small self is an illusion. Thank you for being here. I love you. I hope this was helpful in some way. If you doubt anything that I'm sharing, I would just encourage you to put it into practice and see how it goes. If you plant a sunflower grows. So when we experiment with these principles in A Course in Miracles, we're planting that seed and we're seeing what grows from it. And if we're sincere and we're serious about it, serious in terms of being genuinely wanting to know, we experiment with it and we see. And what I got to see when I listened to the advice, put down my sword, I got to see a complete resolution of the issue quickly, miraculously quickly. And looking back, knowing what I know now, had I kept my sword up, it was going to get really ugly. And it's interesting in A Course in Miracles, in the text, the final vision, chapter 31, it says, the sword of judgment is the weapon that you give to the illusion of yourself, not your true self, that it may fight to keep the space that holds your brother off, unoccupied by love. So be vigilant to know that there is this lower aspect that doesn't want harmony, that doesn't want love, that doesn't want peace. But you wouldn't be watching this video if your true authentic self wasn't finally, and maybe for the first time, or maybe you've been doing this for a long time, that your higher self has taken the reins and is done with these petty little games. And I salute you. Thank you. Thank you for being here and doing this beautiful, world elevating work. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with you. It's not through picking up a sword. It's through your true, authentic, indomitable nature, which is love. Thank you. See you soon. Mwah.